Switch Radio Sport. This is Switch.
Worcester City win that game and they will be in Division 1 Midlands next season.
Chance in Poole, Job's got a chance in the penalty, gets shot in and goes to the back of the net, and Cheyenne Jarvis gets the second goal for Leaford Athletic this afternoon, found space in the 6-yard box.
Back to the edge of the penalty area with the pass, crossing towards the back post, headed goalwards and in!
That's a great shot from De Castro! Oh, what a save for Gray! And the win keep 2-0!
Stourbridge have won the Division 1 Midlands title.
The Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio.
Good evening, welcome along to the Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio. Chris Gadsby with you here for the next hour, continuing the sport until 6 o'clock this evening with all of the very latest from the third and fourth tiers of women's football in England. That's the FA Women's National League. 70 of the 72 teams were in action at the weekend, so we've got plenty to bring you between now and 6 p.m, including a big win for Sporting Khalsa, which has left them in a very strong position to stay in the Northern Premier Division.
From the start to where we are now has been learning on the job, as I've said previously, and I think, if we could have got to this point and you'd have said March the 9th, we would be in a position where we're kind of 7 points clear and the goal difference being what it is, I think it's 20 difference. Admittedly Stourbridge have got a game in hand, we would have took it.
You'll hear from Khalsa's Andy Mulligan in the next hour. There was also a win for West Bromwich Albion away at Rugby Borough, but Wolverhampton Wanderers dropped points away at Hull City. Has that handed the title to Nottingham Forest? In Tier 4 there was a win for Leaford Athletic and Worcester City got a great point at home to Loughborough Lightning, but Sutton Coldfield Town were left to rue the first 15 minutes of their game against Peterborough.
I'll never be happy to lose a game, but you can always take a lot of positives from the performance, from how you carry yourself if you look at the wider context of the game. At the end of the day it's a 3-2 loss. We can't be happy with that, but we can be happy with how we've played, how we've come back into it. Yes, we've had a poor first 20 minutes, but the rest of the games, there's a lot of positives to take away from that, I feel.
On the other side of the result, Peterborough United still very much in the title race after a game which was all about securing the result for Jake Poole.
Yeah, the way we started the game, we wanted to go on and put on a bit of a show today, but as the game goes on and as the game becomes a little bit tighter, it does become about kind of getting home with the 3 points, which fortunately we did in the end.
We'll run through those games and all of the others across the FA WNL before 6 o'clock this evening, as well as examining what they mean for the league tables, with another relegation confirmed on Sunday afternoon. There's news, interviews and much more on the Women's Football Chat with you until 6. Yes, plenty to go through then on this week's Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio, here for the next hour or so. We're going to start, as we normally do in this show, with the news, and only really one piece of news this week concerning actually one of our local sides, Sutton Coldfield Town. They can confirm that Steve Benyon has left his role as head coach of the women's team due to personal commitments. The club have said that in the short term, the current coaching staff will take charge of the team, with the club already working to find a permanent solution. Benyon joined in late November, got off to a quick start by beating Leafield Athletic and was in charge of 8 games, winning 5 of them. He was also nominated for the National League Manager of the Month award. Steve Benyon himself has commented saying he's just moved house and this week has just been mad, but with the moving in and everything and trying to focus on that, I think I've got to put not just myself first this time, I think I've got to put others around me first. That's friends and family I haven't seen for 20 odd years. The staff will step up and the players will obviously continue to step up and play forwards. I'll always be a fan at heart, and if I can help out in any way, of course I will. I've got to put the players first. That's the big one. I could carry on and ride all the pressure and everything, but it's not fair on the players. I think 2 weeks ago was the right time, and I think now is the time where the interim management team can bed their own ideas in if they need to. Keep on believing, keep on supporting, keep on remembering the process and where we were and where we are now. It's only going to get better. Sutton Coldfield would like to thank Steve for his unwavering dedication during his time in the role and wish him the best in the future. We look forward to seeing him back at the Domino's Arena very soon. New manager coming in for Sutton Coldfield Town. They will be playing Division 1 Midlands football next season. So from their point of view, they'll hope to get somebody in and be able to really build next season. Right, we have an awful lot to go through this week. So let's crack straight on with it with the results from the Northern Premier Division. And we'll start with the big game at the top. Nottingham Forest travelling to Burnley and getting the win by 2-0. Sophie Domingo in the 29th minute and Freya Thomas in the 36th minute. Forest getting their scoring done before half time and then holding on to that result for a 2-0 victory. Made even more important by Wolverhampton Wanderers being held 3-3 away from home at Hull City. 2 points dropped for Dan McNamara's side. Hull City 2 for Hope Knight, 1 for Ellie Tanser. For Wolves, Destiny Toussaint and Abby Jenner with their goals, plus an own goal from Hull gives them a point, but that handed the title to Nottingham Forest. We'll examine the league table in a moment. Liverpool Feds 2, Derby County 1, 2 goals to Liverpool Feds. Courtney Willis and Ellie Fletcher, 1 each in each half there. Shendia Moore for Derby, the only goal in the 62nd minute. But a great win for West Bromwich Albion away at Rugby Borough by 1-0. Olivia Rabjon with the only goal of the game. Great 3 points for West Brom, puts even more distance between themselves and the bottom two. Stoke City, they continue to climb the Northern Premier Division table with a 4-0 win over Stourbridge. 2 for Millie Ravening, 26th and 68th minute. 1 for Delphi Cole and 1 for Alicia Collins for Stoke. Gives them a convincing 4-0 win. And in the big game towards the bottom, Sporting Khalsa have done a wonder for their survival hopes. They win by 1-0 away at Halifax. Tiana Russell Cartwright in the 61st minute with the only goal of the game, but a really important 3 points for Sporting Khalsa, and given them quite a bit of a buffer now between themselves and the bottom two. Northern Premier Division table then. Nottingham Forest remain first, 45 points from 17 games. Wolverhampton Wanderers second on 43 points but from 18 games. Stoke are third, 43 points but from 19. Burnley are fourth on 37 from 17. Rugby Borough fifth on 31 from 17. Liverpool Fed sixth, 29 but from 18. Then that big gap drops down to West Brom on 19 points. From 17 games. Derby County 18 points from 18. Hull City 13 points from 16. Sporting Khalsa now 13 points from 17 games. And then into the relegation zone, Stourbridge 6 points from 16 games and Halifax 1 point from 16 games. So start towards the top of the table. So Nottingham Forest then need another 10 points to secure the Northern Premier Division title from their 5 games, and that's assuming that Wolverhampton Wanderers go perfect. Their maximum is now 55. Stoke City's maximum is 52. Burnley's maximum is 52 as well. So really Forest need 10 points. Don't forget Wolves have still got to play Burnley as well, so they're not both going to reach that maximum. It is looking good for Forest, but they do have to take it one game at a time. But what does work in Forest's favour, when you look at the fixtures that they've still got to play, they've got to play Stourbridge, Hull City, Derby County, West Brom, and Liverpool feds. They haven't got to play anybody in the top 5. It's 6th and below for Forest now, all the way until the end of the season. You would expect that they will get there, but of course nothing is certain in football. Hull City, they've got to go to Nottingham Forest, but they've just got a home draw against Wolverhampton Wanderers, so there is plenty that Forest need to be aware of. And then down towards the bottom then, Halifax, they are now 12 points from safety with 6 games to go. Stourbridge, 7 points from safety with 6 games to go. Big win for Sporting Khalsa has lifted them 7 points clear of the Northern Premier Division relegation zone with 5 games to go, including games against Hull and Stourbridge. Now, earlier this week, John Foster sat down with Andy Mulligan after that Sunday win over Halifax to discuss the game and Sporting Khalsa's current club position.
I knew it was going to be a completely different game to the home game that we played against them. You know, they'd got some different players, and we'd had the benefit of obviously watching them against Derby, and I thought they were very good. They were very good against Derby, specifically in the second half. I think they didn't give up, and I think they pressed and caused lots of issues and problems. So we knew it was going to be a difficult game, and again at their place on a very narrow pitch, and how much they'd got in the faces of Derby the week before, we knew that it was going to be a tough afternoon, and that's what it proved to be. I think in terms of scoreline, probably, certainly in the first few minutes of the game, we had 2 gilt-edged chances where I think if we'd have put them away, maybe the game would have been a little bit more easier than it was. And that's no disrespect to Halifax. I think you get 1-2-0 up in a game quite early, and then you gain control of it. And I think as the game went on and it's kind of 0-0, you're always susceptible to the opposition potentially breaking and causing problems. But I think second half, bar a fantastic save from Elise at a very crucial stage in the game, I felt like we got control of the game, and I felt like, we just needed to keep calm and look after the ball and keep doing the right things. And there was multiple opportunities. We had lots of set pieces, corners, and kind of a few open opportunities. In fact, we could have gone 2-0 after we'd just scored, and Layla Kennedy had gone through, and she kind of, just hit the ball and it clipped the post and went wide. So, we could have rued that opportunity and that chance. But no, I think in general, we knew it would be difficult. We knew they would make things hard, and ultimately from our perspective, we knew that it was a kind of a game that we didn't want to lose the opportunity to go there and get 3 points.
Yeah, well, that takes you there 7 points clear of the relegation area with a better goal average versus the 11th place team. Surely you'd have taken that at the start of the season, wouldn't you, Andy?
Yeah, and I think I've said multiple times that we were in a situation where we didn't have any, or maybe 1 or 2 players that had some Tier 3 experience. So everything that we've done over the season, from the start to where we are now, has been learning on the job, as I've said previously. And I think, if we could have got to this point and you'd have said March the 9th, we would be in a position where we're kind of 7 points clear, and the goal difference being what it is. I think it's 20 difference. Admittedly, Stourbridge have got a game in hand. We would have took it, and I think the start of the season was tough, and it's took a lot of resilience and a lot of hard work and determination and clever recruitment, and lots of people influencing what we need to do to get to the point where after 9 defeats, that's what I want to remind you, Jonathan. We started the season and we lost 9 games in a row. And for a team that won probably 80-90% of their games last season to come into Tier 3 and start the season like that, I just, think it's fantastic from the club and the girls' perspective that we've turned it round and put ourselves in such a strong position.
Yeah, that's a very fair point you raise there. Yeah, people might forget about that start, but you certainly, like I say, turned it round and got used to the league, haven't you? And talking about getting used to the league, you mentioned in your post-match interview that went out on social media that you've been playing well this season but not actually got the points. But what you have done successfully is get points from teams that are better than you in regards to in the league position. So the likes of Albion and Derby, you got 4 points off those this season. That's really helped you obviously build confidence, but also stay above 2 teams in the league as well.
Yeah, and I think there's been other games, if you look back and you kind of, you look at the first half performances against Rugby, we're coming at 1-1. You look at the Nottingham Forest game, the second game, the improvements from that. I've said previously, the game that we played them, second game of the season, come too early. Forest are an outstanding team, and I'm not saying that in any danger of winning them games, but certainly coming off in that game the other week, where we were upset we didn't get a draw in that game. And I think there's been other games, where we've had really good opportunities and really good moments in games. We haven't took them opportunities, and they've kind of cost us later on in games. And even the first game of the season, against Derby, I think we took the lead, and then it went 1-1, and it was quite a tight game. And then the last kind of 20 minutes, 30 minutes of that game, I think it was the last 15, 20 minutes, we ended up losing the game 4-1, but we didn't feel like it was a 4-1 game. So I think when you look at it over a season, you realise that probably where the players were at the start of the season is certainly not where the players are now. And, the training, the intensity of training, the additional stuff that we've put in for players, the S&C, the physio, making sure that players are looked after and kept on the pitch and protected, and the rotation of the squad and the recruitment, really. The recruitment's been really important. And I think when you bring in players in, you've got to make sure that they're going to add to the group and that they're good people as much as they are good players. So we've been fully aware of what we're doing in the background, even though results probably, from the outside has not been where they need to be. But we know that we've been in these games, and even complimented by the opposition when we've come off on kind of 4 or 5-1 losses, and they're like, just keep doing what you're doing, because you've produced throughout that whole game and you've caused us major issues, but just haven't put the ball in the net.
Well, a big thank you there to Andy for taking the time to sit down with us here on Switch Radio. That just a snippet of the full conversation. You can hear the full conversation over on Switch Sports social medias. Let's move on then to the Southern Premier Division. AFC Wimbledon 0, Ipswich Town 3. Goals in this one for Ipswich, 2 to Megan Wearing and 1 to Grace Garrard, as Ipswich continue to look towards the top of the table. Important game down towards the bottom for Billericay Town. They beat MK Dons by 5-1. 2 for Maddie Biggs off the substitutes bench, 1 for Taylor Bell, Layla Kenley and Yelena Priest for Billericay Town. MK Dons' goal just coming from Olivia Oshodi. But yeah, really important 3 points there for Billericay Town. Gwali United could be proved to be an important point for them. They drew 0-0 with Lewis, and every point for Gwali United is really valuable to them at the moment. Hashtag United, they're doing everything they can to prevent Ipswich from getting up to the Championship. They beat Cheltenham Town, by 3-1. 2 for Malika Opinda-Gill and 1 for Francesca Finlayson for Hashtag United. Henna Butcher with the only goal for Cheltenham Town. Oxford United 0, Exeter City 1. Sophie Gillies with the goal just 2 minutes into that game for Exeter, and they were able to hold on to that for the rest of the game. And it's been a 6-point week for Exeter City, as on Wednesday evening they did the Devon Derby against Plymouth Argyle, and thanks to Sophie Gillies, again 73rd minute that time, they won that game by a 0-0. So if take that and examine the league table, Hashtag United are still top by 6 points, but Ipswich Towns do still have 3 games in hand. Hashtag United now with just 3 left to play, they're on 45. Ipswich Town on 39 from 16. Exeter City now on 39 but from 19. They've given themselves a 4-point gap to Oxford United, who are on 35 from 19. Those two have been playing leapfrog for a long time. You will remember that now Exeter City have given themselves a bit of a gap with 3 games to go. Watford on 32 but have only played 16, so have the opportunity to leapfrog both of those sides and go all the way, including with Ipswich, although Ipswich of course have played the same as Watford, up into the top 2. Lewis in 6th have got 25 points, but they've played 19 as well. They could be leapfrogged by AFC Wimbledon, who are on 23 and only played 17. Gwalior United are on 19 points and have also played 17. That they really are in this fight at the bottom. Cheltenham Town 17 points from 18 games. Billericay Town 17 points from 19 games. They're upper place now after that win at the weekend over MK Dons. Plymouth Argyle drop into the bottom two on 16 points, but they've only played 18 games. Milton Keynes Dons already relegated with 1 point. So the big fight really at the moment is at the bottom of the Southern Premier Division table. Plymouth Argyle, 4 games remaining. It's Watford away, Ipswich away, Wimbledon at home, and then Gwalior away. Billericay Town with just 3 games left to play. Lewis away, Oxford at home, and then Wimbledon away. So not particularly good fixtures for either of those sides in the running. Plymouth Argyle, I said it for a few weeks now, you feel like it may well come down to just that final game of the season against Gwalior United. Cheltenham Town, of course, still in this mix as well. They're away at Wimbledon, away at Exeter, at home to Lewis, and then away to Ipswich. So they've got plenty of tough fixtures to go with. Then 5 to go for Gwalior, at home to Ipswich, at home to Hashtag, then away to Ipswich, away to Watford, and then at home to Plymouth Argyle on the final day. You feel that Gwalior United probably aren't going to get any points before that final day against Plymouth Argyle, so that might end up being a winner stays up situation in the Southern Premier Division. Hashtag are doing all they can at the top to prevent Ipswich Town from getting up, but Ipswich Town, they have 3 games in hand. They've got a goal difference which is 20 better than Hashtag United's, and when you look at Ipswich Town's fixtures still to come, it's 2 against Gwalior, Plymouth Argyle, MK Dons, Cheltenham Town. They're playing teams that are in the bottom 5 apart from 1 against Watford. You have to think that Ipswich will win those games and end up in the Championship next season. Having a look the other day, and I don't think, from all the leagues in the FAWNL, I don't think a great deal is going to come down to the final day of the season. I think there's only going to be 2 or 3 positions out of the, what would it be, 12, 18. I think there's only going to be 2 or 3 that are going to be decided on the final day of the season. So make sure you don't miss an episode of the Women's Football Chat, because you don't want to miss those promotions and relegations. Let's move through then into Tier 4, Division 1 Midlands. We will start with Leafield Athletic beating Notts County by 4 goals to 1. This one had a delayed start because of an injury in the game prior to that, but Leafield Athletic, that did not bother them. Janelle Stracker in the 41st minute, Hayley Crackle in the 64th, Lucy Davis in the 78th, and Tiara Jade in the 97th minute. Shaniqua Barnes in the 75th minute getting the only goal for Notts County. Lincoln City losing again. Barnsley Women's this time with a 4-0 win. Jodie Minkowski in the 7th minute, Jemima Jarvis in the 20th, Laura Bartup in the 45th, and Demi Bure in the 77th minute for Barnsley Women's. Northampton Town, though, big game towards the top, and they beat Lincoln United by 5 goals to 1. 2 for Jade Bell, she's just been scoring left, right and centre this season, and 1 for Kimberly Farrow, Jemima Footit, Faith Horner for Northampton Town. Alice Hayes the only goal for Lincoln United as they lose by 5 goals to 1. Sutton Coldfield Town, they were left, as I said at the top of the show, to rue the lacks of concentration in the first 15 minutes or so. Peterborough United romping to a 3-0 lead inside the first 16 minutes. Hayley James in the 3rd, 2 for Tara Kirk in the 13th and the 16th minute. So they were 3-0 up. Anna Rankin did get one back just before the half-hour mark, and then Olivia Owen with a consolation goal in the 90th, but they weren't quite able to get a draw out of that game. Peterborough United getting themselves home and dry early on. should mention a great point for Worcester City, holding Loughborough Lightning 1-1 at home. Jessica Fasnage in the 52nd minute, Zinnia Delgin getting the equaliser for Loughborough 17 minutes from time. Loughborough then dropping points against a team that you really wouldn't have expected them to drop points against, and that's no disrespect to Worcester City, who have got what could prove to be a very valuable point in their quest to stay up. Boldmere St Michael's, the final game to look at in Division 1 Midlands, beating Solihull Moors by 5-0. 2 for Leonie Joyce, 2 for Jade Formerston, and 1 for Keely Davis, as well as Boldmere St Michael's win by 5-0. Take a look at the Division 1 Midlands table then. So there's actually not a lot of movement in the table from last week's games. Loughborough Lightning still top, but only now on goal difference. They're on 45 points from 17 games. Northampton Town 45 points from 19 games. Peterborough United 44 points from 19 games. Leaford Athletic 42 points from 18 games. So that's the fight at the top of the table. Now, Loughborough Lightning, don't get me wrong, still very much in control of that table. They have 2 games in hand on Northampton Town. You look at, particularly because of the goal difference as well, Northampton Town, they can get to 54 points. So if Loughborough Lightning can win 3 of their remaining 5 games because of the goal difference, that will be enough for them. Barnsley Women's at home, Leafield away, Notts County away, Sutton Coldfield Town away, Boldmere St Michael's at home. Not an easy run-in for Loughborough Lightning, but with needing 9 points from 5 games, you would suspect they will probably do enough to get themselves into the Northern Premier Division. But Northampton Town with a goal difference of 38, Peterborough United with a goal difference of 39, both of them will be hoping for a couple of slip-ups from Loughborough Lightning, although only one of them will be able to challenge, as they have each other on the final day of the season. So good fight down in the Division 1 Midlands. Of course, if Loughborough Lightning are able to win their final 5 games, it won't come down to the final day, but it might as well. What an opportunity and a great game that will be between Northampton Town and Peterborough United if both of them go into that game against each other with a chance, if results went their way, of winning the Division 1 Midlands title. Down towards the bottom then, Lincoln City survive for another week, but they now need to win all 3 of their remaining games and hope that Worcester City don't get another point. They have Northampton Town away, Notts County at home, and then Worcester City away on the final day of the season. So again, if Lincoln were able to somehow, they haven't won all season, but get 2 wins and get themselves close to Worcester City, presuming Worcester City don't get another couple of points, then that could be a very interesting final day as well. That point has made the job so much harder for Solihull Moors towards the bottom, though, because they now need results in 2 games. And realistically, it's a couple of wins as well because of the goal difference. Leafield Athletic away, Northampton Town at home, Notts County away. Very difficult to see where 2 wins for Solihull Moors are going to come from in those final 3 games rather. But we'll have to wait quite a while because the Division 1 Midlands has been less affected by the weather and the postponements throughout the winter, which means that we've got to the point now with 7 weeks of the season to go. A lot of these teams are only playing 3 more games, so we'll have to wait quite a while before there's any changes in the Division 1 Midlands table. But we mentioned there, Peterborough United continuing their push for the top and hoping Loughborough Lightning slip up a couple of times, as are Northampton. After their 3-2 win over Sutton Coldfield Town on Sunday afternoon, Kevin Moore spoke with Jake Poole.
I thought we started the game really, really brightly. I think that's probably the brightest start we've made to a game all season, actually. I thought we pressed excellently, we converted our chances. Whether it's the heat, the weather, the nice weather we've had today, or whether we just took our foot off the gas a little bit, but we were disappointed probably with the final hour and allowing Sutton Coldfield back into the game, because they're a good football team, probably one of the better footballing teams we've played so far this season. I think we allowed them that. certainly later on in the game.
Keir Perkins and Tara Kirk, the 3 goals between them, the pair of them in the first half, all 3 good, well-worked goals, their own respective rights, isn't it, Jake, to be fair? But you're in a commanding position, 3-0 up. They got a goal just before the break to make it 3-1. Did you feel you had to make any sort of immediate changes for the start of the second half?
Not really. We wanted to tidy up a few things tactically. I think out of possession, there was a few bits that they were causing us a few problems that we wanted to sort out, and I think we did better at that in the second half. We did change our shape and change tactically about an hour into the game, and that was probably due to the heat and the fact that we've been high pressing and high energy for that first 60 minutes, but we didn't play at the same energy and same intensity as the game went on, and we had chances to put the game to bed, I think, even in that second half. But yeah, as the game went on, they grew into it, and they took their chances when they had them as well.
Yeah, the weather conditions, there was a couple of times when there was a couple of water breaks for both respective teams. Had to be, really, because it was quite hot this afternoon, Jake, wasn't it, really? Yeah. And those things do play into a factor as well, don't they? Play into account when you're playing games of that sort of nature. So to be fair though, it was quite fairly fast-paced sort of game in the second half. There wasn't really sort of stop-start nature to it, really, was there? But the fitness levels play a key part in this season. When you get back this evening with the players and you start planning for your next, we'll come on to your forthcoming games in a moment, actually, Jake. But it could potentially be a long day for the players, can't it? But is it a case of today was all about just get the job done and make sure you get the 3 points in the bag, basically?
I think it was towards the end of the game. I think we've been very fortunate this year. We've got a big squad. We've got good quality throughout our squad, and each week we've got players missing out on the squad who were good players at this level. And I think the substitutions we made certainly were to try and freshen it up. Maybe it's the first game of kind of the warmer weather, and maybe that impacted the players a little bit, but the way we started the game, we wanted to go on and put on a bit of a show today, but as the game goes on and as the game becomes a little bit tighter, it does become about kind of getting home with the 3 points, which fortunately we did in the end.
Plus, Rebecca Mears coming on making an impact. You utilised your squad and your bench very acutely during the second half, Jake.
Yeah, Rebecca's come in. She's been with the under-23s for most of the season and done really well with them. She's trained well with us in the last couple of weeks and featured in the County Cup game, which is something that we're using for those opportunities. And she got a chance today, and I thought she came on and impacted the game really well. Emily Melly's 16 years old as well. She came off the bench, and I thought the two of them impact the game well. And Ella Bale as well, 17 years old. These are young players. Eden Oscar's 18 years old as well. So yeah, we've got young players with lots of quality who have had good chances at times this season, and also times when we can utilise them off the bench effectively as well.
Jake Poole there, the Peterborough United manager, speaking to Kevin Moore after that 3-2 win over Sutton Coldfield Town. Now on the other side of that result were Sutton Coldfield, who are in 8th in the Division 1 Midlands table. They are safe for next season, but after they found themselves 3 goals behind after just 16 minutes, they could not find a way back into the game. Jamie Smith-Wood, the first team coach for Sutton Coldfield Town, also spoke to Kevin after the game.
First 20 minutes, obviously, not dealt with it at all. 3-0 down. Full credit to Peterborough. I think that's something I will say. They're where they are in the league for a reason. They're up there. They came flying out of the blocks, and we took a little bit of time to get into it. After those 20 minutes, we definitely settled down a lot more. Yeah, slowly kind of got ourselves back into it, got ourselves the goal before half time. This feeling in the dressing room at half time was that of like, look, we're not at this at all. Second half, we've got our goal, we've got ourselves back into it. Too late. Yeah, like you said, 2 very different, contrasting halves, I guess.
A lot to think about there, isn't there, in the sense that because, I mean, you're looking stronger towards the end actually there, Jamie, and Peterborough United did show a bit of game management to see out the victory this afternoon, but nevertheless, getting that late goal with Olivia Owen getting on the score sheet as well, it would have made things a bit more frustrating from their point from Peterborough. They must have thought potentially throw away a win here. But in terms of fitness levels, your players were looking stronger towards the end of the game. If the game was going beyond the 90-minute mark, I was sensing that you could have maybe pinched it and made it 3-3.
Yeah, but it's obviously a shame it's not more than 90 minutes, is it? Yeah, I think we were massively pushing towards the end. It just at times it just was that last ball, that last pass, or just not hitting the target, or just that last little bit was missing. Eventually we get one from a corner, and it was at that point it was like, right, okay, we've got about 30 seconds, let's try and get another one. Yeah, I think we massively pushed towards the end to try and get that goal because we felt it was there, we felt we could go and get it, and yeah, we tried really hard to.
We'll touch on the game in a bit more detail now actually, Jamie. Go back to the first half, because a key part was that 4-minute spell where we know her quality. Tara Kirk scores 2 goals very quickly in succession, and that really creates a problem when you're 3-0 down, and there's that concern from the bench. We're thinking we've got to make sure this isn't a cricket score here. get some control in the rest of the first half. You mentioned about the first 20 minutes, that was key to when they got themselves well in front during the game. But Anna Rankin's goal, I want to make special praise to Millie Kirk. The work she did in the lead up to that goal was very important because she found the space, persevered, got the cross in. You could argue the goalkeeper should have made it better with the cross coming in and fumble it into the path of Rankin, but nevertheless, Rankin's there to put it in. But Millie Kirk's work was key to that goal being scored, I think.
Yeah, just found herself a bit of space. It comes from a corner initially, if I remember rightly. Millie just slowly kind of drifts towards the box, ball comes out, and on the second phase she's just completely unmarked. A lot of them were flagging for someone was offside, so all their players have started going shouting at the line, and didn't see Millie Kirk completely unmarked coming round near the back post, putting a good ball across. Obviously, keepers pushed it back into a dangerous area, and Anna Rankin's the first one alive to it.
And, De Castro playing a slightly different role today, but when we see players playing that sort of forward position, you know straight away, don't you, that you're going to get players around them straight away. But I thought Lauren De Castro knew her role was going to be a little bit different this afternoon. But the way she handled things was very professional because she knew she was going to get players on her straight away. But as the game grew on, certainly in the second half, players like Cassidy get involved in the play as well. You made some changes from the bench, obviously, Jamie, but, players like Abby Bevan, I thought, grew in confidence in the second half as well. So despite the result today, it's still a lot of positive to take out today's game, playing a team have been there and thereabouts for the title race since the start of the season, Jamie.
I'll never be happy to lose a game, but you can always take a lot of positives from the performance, from how you carry yourself if you look at the wider context of the game. At the end of the day, it's a 3-2 loss. We can't be happy with that, but we can be happy with how we've played, how we've come back into it. Yes, we've had a poor first 20 minutes, but the rest of the games, there's a lot of positives to take away from that, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. And on the horizon, let's look at your forthcoming fixtures, because there are no cup matches to contend with, as we mentioned in previous conversations, but some key matches, a couple of other results this afternoon, making things very interesting within the National League Division 1 Midlands, with the games that took place there affecting Loughborough, Worcester City, and also Northampton Town and Lincoln United are four clubs in particular. But Worcester City on the horizon away, the Loughborough Lightning here at home, and Leaford Athletic away. So you could have a big say in how things pan out this season. But I know we had a conversation in previous conversations about it's all about a strong finish. You've probably set yourself in your mind a target in terms of performances and raising the levels of the performances week in, week out until the end of the campaign, and at the same time thinking about how you're going to build things from next season onwards as well. But one of the key messages you'll address to the players in the training this week, saying we've got to make sure we don't switch off ever again the first 20 minutes of a game, because the mistakes hadn't been made in that first 15 minutes. It could have been a totally different scoreline this afternoon, Jamie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And looking forward, I said it in the last interview with you, it's none of our concern personally what's going on with other teams. We need to be aware of it. Yeah. Obviously, Worcester wanting to put more daylight between themselves and Solihull. The other two still very much so now in the fight for the title. We need to be aware of, they're probably going to come out the blocks in a similar way. They're going to want to come out and put in a performance, but we can't concern ourselves with that. We need to play our own game and worry about ourselves. I think we need to now go and disrupt everyone. Be that team that's really, really annoying, picks up results and points when we shouldn't, against teams that people look at us and go, they shouldn't be getting a point there, or 3 points. Yeah, just go annoy people and be disruptive, I think.
And in terms of formation this afternoon, Jamie, final point on this actually, it looked a very sort of like a positive formation. Are you trying to tactically change things at this stage of the season, are you? Are you trying to do a bit of experimentation at the moment, are you?
No, it's just something we felt would work. A formation that it's very, very balanced, and we felt it would be more effective today. Apart from the first 20 minutes, we feel it worked really, really well, so that's what it is.
A big thank you to Jamie Smith-Wood, Jake Poole, and of course Andy Mulligan earlier on in the show today for taking the time to speak to Switch Radio this week. Still got plenty to go through then on this week's show. 3 more leagues to look at, plus the fixtures coming up over the next 7 days. We'll be right back.
Switch Radio Sport. This is Switch.
This is the Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio. Chris Gasby with you here through until 6 o'clock this evening. So Division 1 North, let's go and have a deep dive into that. Huddersfield Town winning 1-0 away at AFC Fylde. Kate Mallin with the only goal of that game in the 63rd minute, giving them the 3 points. Chorley beating Barnsley by 4-1. An important 3 points for them as they continue to go towards the top of the table and try and challenge Cheadle Town and Middlesbrough. Saffron Newhouse, Ella Ritchie, Molly Wood, Sophie Coward with the goals for Chorley. But Cheadle Town Stingers, they continue their rise through the football pyramid. They beat Doncaster Rovers Bells by 3-0. All the goals being done before the half-hour mark. Rachel Dunlop in the 9th, Harriet Horton in the 18th, and Imogen Portis-Williams in the 26th minute. Cheadletown Stingers well on the way to Tier 3, doing a rise all the way through the pyramid. Leeds United, they beat Norton Stockton Ancients by 3-0. Catherine Smith in the 25th minute, Drew Green in the 30th minute, and Alice Hughes in the 64th minute with the 3 points for Leeds. Middlesbrough beating Stockport by 4-0, 2 to Armani Maxwell, 1 to Jessica Met, and 1 to Millie Bell. And then York City beating Durham Sestra by 3-2. It's Millie Ash in the 15th minute, Jess Holder in the 23rd, Emia Hendrickson Eastwood in the 86th. For Durham, Rebecca Bell in the 38th and Ashley Townsend in the 76th minute. And yet again, it means there's not a huge amount of movement in the Division 1 North table. Cheadletown Stingers are top, they won. Middlesbrough second, won. Chorley third, won. Leeds United fourth, won. Huddersfield Town fifth, won. So it's all very much the same. Cheadletown 3 points clear, they're on 42 having played 19. Middlesbrough on 39 having played 18. Chorley on 36 having played 18. Leeds 32 with 18 played. Huddersfield 32 with 18 played. So actually Cheadle only need one more win from their remaining 3 games to take Leeds United and Huddersfield Town out of contention. Chorley are 6 points behind them. Middlesbrough are 3. They have a game in hand, so Middlesbrough can pull themselves pretty well level with a big win. They'll be level on points and pretty close on goal difference. It's only 7 different at the minute. But equally, with the teams at the top all winning, the teams at the bottom pretty much all lost. Fylde lost, Doncaster Rovers Bells lost. York City got the win though against Durham Sestra, so they are now 5 points clear of the relegation zone and they have 4 games left to play. Doncaster Rovers Bells with just 3 games left to play and need a couple of wins from their final 3 games. Norton Stockton Ancients are in 10th. They're looking over their shoulder, but they have a 4-point gap and they've got games in hand. Games to go in the in Division 1 North. Doncaster Rovers, they've got AFC Fylde coming up. That is a huge game for those bottom 2. They both need to win that game. Doncaster Rovers, then they have Middlesbrough away, who are 2nd, Huddersfield Town, who are 5th. Is it already too late for Doncaster Rovers Bells? Are they going to be able to get a draw against a Middlesbrough and a Huddersfield Town? They could do with a win as well, with Norton Stockton Ancients having these games in hand. Norton Stockton Ancients, Middlesbrough away, Cheadle away, then York at home. York away, but that's a big one. Barnsley in 7th at home, Chorley in 3rd at home. So Norton Stockton Ancients have still got to play the current top 3, but they have those 2 games, York City, Barnsley, that they will be targeting. AFC Fylde with 4 to go. They really need results out of 3 of these games in order to avoid the drop. Stockport County away, Doncaster Rovers Bells away, Durham Sestra at home, Cheadletown Stingers away. You feel that AFC Fylde will need to get all of their points before the final day of the season, which means beating Stockport County, beating Doncaster Rovers Bells, and getting something in order to turn the goal difference over against Durham Sestra. It really is do or die for the teams towards the bottom of Division 1 North. This division that has been so tight for so long, it just seems, as we've gone through the last few weeks, that they've split slightly as they all play each other. Those gaps are increasing, the games are running out, and you look at the teams that those sides towards the bottom have got left to play, and it really does seem that time is running out. Stockport County in 8th, they've probably now done enough. Doncaster Rovers Bells would need results in all of their remaining games in order to catch Stockport County, so they've probably got themselves safe now. Towards the top, it said Cheadletown Stingers, their 3 remaining games, Norton Stockton Ancients at home, Huddersfield Town away, AFC Fylde at home. You would imagine 6 points at least from those 3 games. Middlesbrough though, Norton at home, Durham away, Doncaster Rovers Bells at home, Barnsley away. So Middlesbrough don't have to play anyone towards the top either. It could well come down to goal difference between those two sides. Chorley have got the most difficult running of those teams fighting for the title. Stockport County at home, but then Huddersfield away who are 5th, Leeds away who are 4th, before Norton Stockton Ancients on the last day. It is probably realistically between the top 2, and that might come down to goal difference. Right, Division 1 South East then, some significant results here. Ashford Town getting a 2-2 draw with Cambridge United. Good point for Ashford Town. A little bit of too little too late for them, but a good point nonetheless. Abby Jackson and Sarah Wiltshire with the goals for Cambridge United. And a very, very late goal, a 100th minute goal for Chesham United, gives them the 1-0 win over Dulwich Hamlet. Doesn't affect anything in terms of the bottom of the table, which we'll get onto, but it is such a big win for Chesham United. London Bees against AFC Sudbury. Sorry, Gemma Fraser with that 100th minute goal for Chesham United, I should say. London Bees, another good win for them. Samantha Gabion, 23rd and 31st minute. Millie Isherwood in the 80th minute, rounding off the scoring for London Bees. London Seaward losing by 5-0 at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Jess Leach, Alana Munro, Mila De Santos, Grace Stanley, Courtney Ward Chambers, all on the score sheet for Queen's Park Rangers. 5 different scorers for them, and that has condemned London Seaward to Tier 5. Towards the top of the table, Rail Bedford beating Actonians by 2-1. Amber Gaylor in the 45th minute, Sophia Stovold in the 94th minute, with what would prove to be the winner for Rail Bedford. They found a way to win, beating Actonians by 2-1. De Santos with the goal for Actonians. And then finally, Chatham Town 0, Norwich City 2. Big, important result for Norwich City as they continue to try and chase down Rail Bedford. Natasha Snelling and Holly Kennard with the goals for Norwich City. South East table then, so towards the bottom we will start there. London Seaward at the bottom of the table now after Ashford Town's point, and London Seaward are relegated out of the FA-WNL. 14 points from safety with only 4 games remaining. Ashford Town, because they struggled so much earlier on in the season to get games gone, they've still got 6 games left to play, but it is now a 13-point gap to Chesham United after they got that big win against Dulwich Hamlet. So Ashford Town, 13 points the gap. They have 18 points available, so they would need to get, well, with their goal difference as well, you would imagine they would need 14 points, which will be 4 wins and 2 draws. They've got to play Rail Bedford, Chatham Town. They've still got Actonians in there as well. It's very unlikely that Ashford Town are able to get themselves safe in the FA-WNL, but they have a few more weeks to get there, because that point, and with Chesham United not playing this weekend, means that they are going to be not mathematically down for a couple of weeks yet. Towards the top then, Rail Bedford 39 points from 17 games, Norwich City 38 points from 19 games, London Bees 35 points from 19 games, Chatham Town 33 points from 18 games. Those are the 4 sides that still have the chance to go up into the Southern Premier Division, but of course Rail Bedford very much in the driving seat. Chatham Town's maximum number of points is 45, so Rail Bedford would only need 2 wins from 5 games to eclipse them. London Bees, their max is 44, so again 2 wins for Rail Bedford would stop London Bees from being able to get promoted. Norwich City are the ones that have the outside chance. Their maximum is 47, so Real Bedford would need 8 points, let's call it 3 wins from their remaining 5 games in order to get promoted into the Southern Premier Division. And when you look at the fixtures that Real Bedford have got left to play, it's Ashford Town, Chesham United, AFC Sudbury, who are currently in 7th, then London Seawood and Dulwich Hamlets. So Real Bedford, who have been so good all season long, haven't lost yet, would need to lose a couple of games against the team in 12th, 11th, 10th, 8th and 7th. They haven't got to play anybody in the top half. They've been there, they've done it, they've got the points on the board. It's now just a case of getting the job done against the teams towards the bottom for Real Bedford. So you'd imagine the Division 1 South East will be sewn up quite a way before the last day of the season. Division 1 South West then, AFC Bournemouth 2, Abingdon United 0. AFC Bournemouth continue their perfect record. Katie James in the 58th minute, Alison Hall in the 89th minute with the goals for AFC Bournemouth. Keynsham Town 2, Bournemouth Sports 2, Kiara Lundy with 2 for Keynsham Town, 25th and 77th minute. Rosie Eden with 2 for Bournemouth Sports, 53rd and 56th minute. Maidenhead United 2, Bristol Rovers 1. Daisy Ackerman with the goal for Bristol Rovers in the 9th minute in that game, but it's Maidenhead United who win by 2 goals to 1. Moneyfield stay hot on Bournemouth's heels with a 2-0 win over Bridgewater United. Charlie Wilson-Wilton in the 40th minute, Lucy Cooper in the 60th. Portishead Town, they got a valuable 3 points. They beat Southampton Women's by a goal to 0. Imogen Jones just before half time with what would prove to be the only goal of the game. And a big win for Swindon Town over Worthing, 6 goals to 0. Annabelle Colston in the 10th, Helen Diaz-Butcher in the 11th, a hat-trick for Tori St Clair, 34th, 43rd and 71st minute, and Billy Haynes in the 82nd minute, rounding off the scoring for Swindon Town. What that means for the league table is that Bournemouth stay top. They are 4 points clear of Moneyfields after they both won. Swindon Town leapfrog Worthing into 3rd. So Bournemouth 48 points from 16. Moneyfields 44 points from 18. Swindon Town 37 points from 19. They are now out of it. Despite winning. Worthing 35 points from 18, also now out of it. It is literally just between Bournemouth and Moneyfields at the top of Division 1 South West. Bristol Rovers in 5th on 31, Keynsham Town 6th on 26, Bridgewater United 7th on 23, Maidenhead United 8th on 20, Abingdon United 9th on 14, Bournemouth Sports in 10th on 13, Portishead Town now though also on 13 points, Southampton Women's bottom of the table on 3 points. Closer look at the bottom of the table then. Southampton Women's with 4 games to go are now 10 points away from safety. They will need to win all 4 of their remaining games and they have to play Bournemouth away. It looks very unlikely for Southampton Women. The fight is going to be between Portishead Town in 11th, 3 games to go, 13 points. Bournemouth Sports in 10th, 5 games to go, 13 points. And Abingdon United in 9th, 4 games to go on 14 points. Portishead Town with their last 3. Bristol Rovers away from home, then Moneyfields at home and Bournemouth away. Looking unlikely that they're going to get any more points. They'll have to get something from that Bristol Rovers game. Bournemouth Sports have still got a game against Southampton Women's to come, so you would argue that they've got the better running because that's a good opportunity for them to get at least a draw that would then heap the pressure onto Portishead Town. Moneyfields away, Maidenhead United at home they could look at, Bridgewater at home as well, Bristol Rovers away, Abingdon United with 4 games to go, Worthing at home, Bridgewater United at home, Southampton Women away and Keynsham Town at home. So given that both Abingdon United and Bournemouth Sports have both got games against Southampton Women's that they you would imagine they would be targeting picking points up against, it's going to be very difficult for Portishead Town to avoid the drop now, you feel. Towards the top, Bournemouth, they could win the title next weekend. We'll talk about that when we look at the fixtures. We'll start though looking at the fixtures in the Northern Premier Division. 4 games this weekend. Hull City take on Stourbridge. That is 9th against 11th in the Northern Premier Division. Stourbridge desperately need points. It's the East Midlands derby between Nottingham Forest and Derby County. Forest, this their game in hand over Wolves and one of their 2 over Stoke City, so they'll be needing 3 points to really cement their place at the top of the table. Wolves and Stoke will both be hoping for a slip-up which could reopen the door that has now been closed and is just ajar. Rugby Borough against Sporting Khalsa, that is 5th against 10th, and West Bromwich Albion in 7th against Burnley, who are in 4th. Southern Premier Division, 3 games to go through there. Gwalior United against Ipswich Town. This is the 3rd attempt to play this game. The first one was called off because of the weather when Ipswich were most of the way there. The second one was abandoned at half time. So this is the 3rd attempt, Ipswich Town going across to Gwalior. Gwalior, of course, down in 8th. AFC Wimbledon against Cheltenham Town is 7th against 9th. And Watford against Plymouth Argyle 5th against 11th. So important weekend for the teams towards the bottom of the table. There are no games in Division 1 Midlands this weekend, so we'll go to Division 1 North, where there's just 2. Middlesbrough against Norton Stockton Ancients, 2nd against 10th, and Stockport County against AFC Fylde, 8th against 12th. Yet again, an important week towards the bottom of the table. This is a County Cup week this weekend, which is why there are so few fixtures. In Division 1 South East, there are just 1 game. Ashford Town against Real Bedford. Ashford Town will still survive in the league even if Real Bedford beat them this weekend. It would leave them 13 points away from safety with 5 games to go, but they will still be safe in the division at the end of the weekend. Whatever happens, Real Bedford have got the opportunity at the top of the table to move 4 points clear. And then 1, but technically 2 games in Division 1 South West over the next 7 days. Bournemouth Sports against Southampton Women's this weekend, 10th against 12th. Bournemouth Sports could almost secure their safety, you would think, with the game still to go for Portishead Town, with a win over Southampton Women's. And then on Wednesday night, this was meant to be a couple of weeks ago, but was postponed due to the heavy fog, AFC Bournemouth against Moneyfields on Wednesday night. Now, if Bournemouth win that game, they will be 7 points clear of Moneyfields, and Moneyfields will have 3 games left to play. Then when we get to the programme of fixtures a week on Sunday, if Bournemouth then win that game when they play Bristol Rovers, they will win the title still in March. So Bournemouth could win the title. If they go 18 for 18, they could win the title on the 23rd of March. So that is the fixtures coming up in the next 7 days in the FAWNL. So that will about do it then for this week's Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio. There is just 1 relegation possible this Sunday, with Southampton Women's needing to win to avoid the drop. And can anybody move closer to that big prize on April the 27th? Promotion to the tier above. At W Football Chat on X, the place to be for all the results full time on Sunday. Thank you for your company this evening, and the Alternative 80 show with Andrew Richards is with you after the news at 6.